Welcome to Your Mortgage Matters, brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans, your weekly look into what's new in the mortgage business and how it impacts you. And now your host, Matt Kreger.
Hello, everyone. We're excited to be back with Your Mortgage Matters podcast. I'm Matt Kreger, Divisional Sales Leader for Angel Oak Home Loans, and we're excited about our guest today, Adam Beeler, who is Head of Institutional Sales. We'll jump into what exactly that means here in just a second. The time that you spend on this podcast is valuable. We're here for you to explain the mortgage industry. There's so much going on right now. It's such a confusing time, whether you're a consumer trying to apply for a home loan for you and your family, or you're a professional of the real estate and mortgage industry trying to understand what's next in our industry. So moving right into our special guest, Adam Beeler, Head of Institutional Sales, Angel Oak Capital. Adam, tell us a little bit about you and what you do at Angel Oak.
Thanks, Mac. Pleasure to be here and to be speaking with you today. So I run our institutional group at Angel Oak Capital Advisors, which basically means my job is to go out and speak with endowments, foundations, insurance companies, state pensions, sovereign wealth funds, registered investment advisors, single family offices, and basically tell the Angel Oak Capital Advisors story, but more importantly, the Angel Oak Company's story. So I get to go out and speak to people about structured credit products, fixed income type products, and really income driven solutions, which is really at the heart of what we do at Angel Oak in general, is to provide income driven solutions through full market cycles. Now, obviously, we've gone through some interesting cycles over the past several years and very complicated times these days for mortgage products as well as asset management products, right? So the products people buy into their 401ks and IRAs and endowments need products to make sure they're hitting their yield bogeys or whatever solutions they need to provide. And so I get the pleasure of going out and talking to these folks about of helping them navigate troubled waters and obviously good times as well. So we have a small team, but a strong team that is responsible for going and raising capital that invests in our products, or we design custom products for those institutional investors.
Wow, you do a lot. I want to talk about how that affects a consumer or a real estate professional or builder, developer. I know Mike Fearman and Srini Prabhu, our founders, started Angel Oak for the exact reason you were just talking about, which is trying to provide solutions for diverse income situations for consumers. And in fact, one of our founders, Mike Fearman himself, had a bad experience trying to apply and get a traditional mortgage through an agency set up. And so he himself has personal experience on why these income solutions for borrowers are so important. Can you tell us a little bit about, when you said something about ecosystem of Angel Oak? When you say that, what is the ecosystem of Angel Oak? Because most mortgage companies just sling loans. That's all they do. They do applications, they close loans, they move on. But we're not just a company that originates, process, underwrites, and close. There's things that happen way before an applicant comes to Angel Oak Home Loans website and applies. So what is that ecosystem that you were talking about?
Yeah, it's a great comment. It's a great topic. So that ecosystem is, when you think about what is Angel Oak, right? Angel Oak is really a financial services company that provides income-driven solutions, but it provides, you'll probably keep hearing me saying the word solutions. And the really interesting nature about Angel Oak, which differentiates it from other mortgage originators, other asset management firms, is really the diversity of products, right? So, at the mortgage company level, if you are a refi shop, great job. You probably had a great 19 and 20 and 21 got interesting, and now you're trying to figure out what to do in 2022. If you don't have a diversity of products, right, that meet customer demands in multiple different market environments, it's a trade. You're not in the business, it's a trade. Same thing on the asset management side. If we're not offering unique income-driven solutions at the asset management level, right? Providing products, providing funds, whether it's mutual funds or interval funds or permanent capital vehicles or private equity style or hedge fund. Or if you're not providing a diversity of products and being nimble enough to be able to navigate the waters of any rate market environment, you know, I think you're in trouble. So no one's in trouble when things are rosy and everything's great. It takes a true company and a true ecosystem that provides those solutions regardless of market environments. And so I think the reason I'd like to think that it's the success of our companies and our people is being able to provide those solutions. I've had the pleasure of speaking to some of your folks, Mac, and I've had the pleasure of speaking to lots of folks all around the country. And, I think people get a little bit spooled up in the current environment, right? So, again, back to the example of a refi shop. If you're a refi shop, you basically ignored everything else. And then when that merry-go-round stops, you're sitting there trying to figure out what to do, and you're worried about your job. Um, I've always, and you and I have had this conversation before, and I've had this with others at Angel Oak. From my lens, right, on the asset management side, it's being able to provide multiple solutions to investors, again, through full market cycles, all sorts of different dynamic market environments. And we're certainly in one right now. The same thing on the originator side. If I'm a loan officer, I'd love to have great refi products. I'd like to have great agency products. I'd like to have great prime jumbo products. Um, and then I also love to be able to service borrowers that, for wherever I was, I'm not able to help them, meaning a non agency or non qualified mortgage product. I'd love to be able to provide, if I'm a loan officer, hey, this non-QM borrower owns his or her business. Wow, we actually have a small business commercial division. We have a bridge division. It's really, if I am trying to build a business, I want to make sure that I have all the tools in the toolbox to be successful, whether I'm a loan originator or I'm an asset management professional and trying to provide solutions. And when you can provide those solutions, you're really more like a consultant. You're sitting down, you're saying, how can I help you? Maybe I can, maybe I can't. But let me see if I can get you into this home, if that's you're the loan officer, or let me see if I can provide you an income-driven solution on the asset management side. And just let me see if I can add some value. If my asset management products look like everybody else, well, they work when they work. If my loan products work when everything else is working, well, that's great. But we've also seen, and I've been around the markets for a minute or two, and if you're not prepared for what lies ahead, and we're certainly seeing that right now, your trade is over. Therefore, the analogy back to the if you only offer a certain amount of loan products, it's great until it's not. And so, if I am a loan officer mulling Angel Oak or any company for that matter, I would want to make sure that how is the culture, how are the people, what does the environment look like, what types of products and solutions can I offer people to be able to help them? Because if I'm only helping somebody, if I'm a home builder and I'm building a house and I'm really really good at framing, but I don't know how to do anything else, well, what happens when it starts to rain? Well, I need the roofer to come on. The electrician needs to be there. And so I really make the analogy of like a firm in the Angel Oak ecosystem, right? Angel Oak companies, not asset management, not mortgage origination, Angel Oak companies has really been a pioneer in offering all of those types of solutions to those borrowers. And on the asset management side, it's really no more complicated than we're taking the largest borrower base and connecting them with the largest investor base in the world. And the largest investors in the world literally are saying to Angel Oak, hey, we'd like to meet these people. How can we add some value? And I think we're just scratching the surface, to be honest with you, of building a business is what other types of products can we help people with? I mean, if you think about a consumer, right? Maybe their first time home buyer. This is their biggest experience, financial experience. probably
Right.
in their life. If somebody goes and buys a $400,000 house, many people don't make $400,000 a year. They take a loan out. They have to qualify for the loan. So it's a big deal. And to be able to provide that solution to those borrowers is, I'd like to think we don't take that lightly. And sometimes we can't be competitive with everything that we do, but I'd like to think that we can. Same thing resonates on the asset management side. Maybe you're a mutual fund investor or a private equity investor or somewhere in between, but if I'm not listening to you and helping you with a full suite of products, it's going to be a very short relationship.
We're here at your Mortgage Matters podcast with Adam Beeler, head of institutional sales, Angel Oak, and that 5-minute segment that Adam just explained to us about our company and what fuels our company and how it is affected in this economy right now is one to go back and replay for sure. That explanation defines the market we're in and does provide solutions, and that's what makes me proud about being a leader at Angel Oak is we are looking for solutions. We're not just reactive to the market. Adam, that was just a great explanation. A little more detailed question from that though, and I think a lot of our listeners are probably asking this question. I know I am. What is the investor confidence right now? Like when I look at my 401k and it's looking like it's got some issues right now and everybody's confused about the market. How do you meet with institutions and create a level of confidence in investor sales with what's going on in the worldwide economy right now?
Yeah, I mean, whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, the most sophisticated investors in the world are thinking the exact same thing that you just asked, right? What am I doing? The traditional mix of 60-40, 60 equities, 40% bonds in any 401k portfolio, it doesn't work. We've known it hasn't really worked in a while, but I don't think people were prepared. I mean, we're in the worst market environment in decades. It's been the worst start for the S&P, I think, in 40, 50 years. So that's obviously not good. But I think, back to this ecosystem in Angel Oak, and why I think we are growing in this market is we understand that and we're trying to offer additional solutions, be that asset management products, be that mortgage products, whatever it is. So it's a great analogy of the traditional sense of running fixed income assets, the traditional sense of providing mortgage products, generic mortgage products. In my mind, again, I'm on the asset management side, you are the mortgage expert. The traditional mortgage refi purchase, it's broken. It doesn't work through full market cycles. So what we have been doing on the non-QM side since 2000, we started it before that, but really started securitizing product in 2015, is trying to think outside the box, trying to say what do borrowers actually really need, as opposed to just trying to jam whatever seems to be working in the moment. So 60-40 equity fixed income is not working anymore. So people have to pivot. If you're a big, gigantic, generic shop, pivoting is tough. People don't like to pivot in big, huge, generic shops. We are nimble enough. We are creative enough. We are forward thinking enough to be able to pivot and move and say, you know what? I think there's a strong borrower base out there that needs this type of a product. I think we should ask ourselves first, should I accommodate them? Does it make sense? I don't want to take undue financial risk. And that's why I think we're very selective on who we're trying to help and how we're trying to help them. And if there's a way for us to be nimble enough on the mortgage side, as well as the asset management side, to say, you know what, I think we can serve these types of borrowers in a different way. I think we should take a strong look at it. Let's bring the leadership of the mortgage company together. Let's bring the leadership of the asset management firm together. Let's try to figure out what we can do here to provide those types of solutions. And if you're not doing that, if that's not part of your DNA, if that's not part of your culture, if that's not part of the way you think as a loan officer or a portfolio manager, I think it's going to be a real tough road ahead for you.
I couldn't agree more. So we originated in non-QM loans just last year alone. We surpassed a 12 billion mark for originations in non-QM loans. I've seen a lot of people jump in and out of this space over the last year. As of right now, I feel like people are jumping out. But earlier this year in 2022, I saw a lot of people jumping in. Why is it so important that Angel Oak establish themselves first as the first non-QM originator, as the real pioneer of the product? And how does that affect what we do moving forward, like our future, when you have so many other people kind of jumping in and out? What makes us different?
Well, it's a great question and great comment. And I think it goes to the core of what we do. It's our business, right? I think the other people that are jumping in and jumping out, back to the asset management analogy, like, what is that? Well, that's a trade. So I'm going to jump in when I think it looks good. I'm going to try to figure it out in a very, very complex world. I mean, the mortgage market, arguably, and I'm glad that it is one of the most highly regulated businesses in the world. It's not something to take lightly, and not something that we take lightly from a risk, compliance, origination, people, I mean, everything that we do, right? So if you're jumping into it, it's because it's sort of like the proverbial shiny coin. Oh, I should go chase this shiny coin over here. This looks interesting. Then they figure out how hard it is to do. They don't have the back office. They don't have the people, the power, the systems, the processes. They don't have any of that in place. And it may work for a little bit. And they try to balance sheet loans. Then they try to figure out how to get them off the balance sheet. They're not necessarily, most of them, if not all of them, or the majority of them, I should say, uh, also don't have that strategic relationship with an asset management firm that is standing right next to them, um, and saying, look, I agree with you. I like these types of borrowers. I want to help these types of borrowers, and I want to buy these mortgages. So that sort of symbiotic relationship between the mortgage company and the asset management firm truly differentiates us. So when people are jumping in, it's because they think it makes a lot of sense. And I would agree with them. But when you then all of a sudden the refi boom picks back up, and then they leave those borrowers left behind, and then they sort of want to jump back in the business again, that's just setting themselves up for failure. And again, that's not a business. You are now trading, and that to me doesn't make a lot of sense. So what our founding partners did in the very beginning is, we launched the asset management firm first. Certainly had the domain expertise to build back the originator, but that came years after, several years after we started the asset management firm. And then it was very methodical of how do we build out the mortgage company, making sure that everything is set up, staffing up correctly, which I think is a problem lots of people face, is they're not staffing correctly. And I think we've done all of these things well. I know we've done all these things well because, arguably, we are the largest securitizer of new issue non-agency or non-qualified mortgages in the world. And we're probably, arguably, the largest single license mortgage originator of these types of products in the world. So if you're not, goes back to the analogy we were talking about before about building a house. And I think what we did and what you have done and the leadership of the mortgage company has done is we built this 10,000 square foot foundation. We've only built on 5,000 or 4,000 feet, but knowing we need to continue to build. But as long as that foundation is strong, it's secure, it's supporting a larger house, is the example or the analogy, which it represents the company. As long as we were very, very specific in making sure that that was all in place. So then when non-QM is in fashion and it's not in fashion, we're still in. We're still providing those solutions. We still have the people in the back office all ready to go. Because as we also know, and as asset managers and as loan originators, the markets are cyclical. Things come, things go, things come out of, things are fashionable, things are not fashionable. And I think people are not anticipating this entire gig economy, this entire millennial generation. I mean, we have borrowers that don't necessarily, and I think this is just a cultural shift of not wanting to be the traditional W-2 employee and I'm going to go work for GE for the next 40 years. When I grew up, that was seen as something that you just do. these days, the millennial generations and other generations, they want to start businesses. They want to be creative. They do have additional jobs. They do have additional sources of income. They want to blaze their own path. That, by definition, makes them a complicated borrower. Doesn't make them a bad borrower. It just makes them a complicated borrower. And so if you're not prepared to service that borrower through full market cycles, you're just not going to be able to take advantage of that opportunity set. And when I say take advantage of the opportunity set, what I really mean is provide those solutions to those borrowers and to be able to stack hands and partner with them over the long term. Because we know you can get somebody into their home, first time buyer, a complicated borrower, whoever it is, you've partnered with them. You've provided them a solution for them and their families. If you're only providing one or two things, it's going to be tough for you to actually really stack hands and help them over the long term. I think what you and the other leaders at the mortgage company have said, how can we appeal to a larger market? How can we help a larger amount of borrowers that are out there? And maybe we can. Maybe we can't, but let's actually try to see what the borrowers need first, and then let's go build products around it to be able to support that marketplace. And again, we do the same thing on the asset management side.
If you're not pumped up by listening to Your Mortgage Matters today with Adam Beeler, head of institutional sales at Angel Oak, I don't know how we can pump you up. You know, I heard a saying a long time ago by Archie Manning, pressure's only felt by people who are not prepared. And when I listen to what Adam's saying and the preparation and the work he and his entire team have done to build the foundation at Angel Oak, which fuels opportunities for Angel Oak Home Loans, you know, everything he's saying defines the fact of, hey, we're not just a lender. We aren't just an asset management company. We're more. We're funding dreams for realtors, home builders, home buyers, anyone who has a mortgage need, and we're working together. The pride that I take as a leader at Angel Oak Home Loans, partnering with Angel Oak and Angel Oak Capital in order to provide these solutions. And right now we need them. We can all look around and say, we know what the problems are. Every one of us has a news cycle on our phone and we know the challenges, but who's stepping up and providing solutions? Adam Beeler, his team, that's exactly what they're doing. On the podcast today, we've taken the time to explain to you our ecosystem at Angel Oak, which to me can be very complicated to understand. Adam just summed it up in the last 20 minutes in a way that no one else can. And it does affect you. It does affect your opportunities as a self-employed applicant or as an investor to be able to invest into what is now a great opportunity in the real estate market we're in, but also for realtors, for you to understand, and home builders, more opportunities with more buyers, with more applicants. We're all looking for that right now. Adam, I really appreciate your time today, your explanation on what you do and how it affects us on the street, providing opportunities for home loans for all types of borrowers, and especially right now, as much pressure is being felt. I'm so grateful that you and your team are prepared to provide solutions. Again, I really appreciate your time today, Adam.
No, thank you, Mac, and thank you for all that you guys do, and appreciate the time today, and always here to help, my friend.
Again, great episode for Your Mortgage Matters with Adam Beeler, head of institutional sales for Angel Oak. And I appreciate your time today and listening. I know you've learned a lot. I have as well. We are here to provide solutions. You can go to angeloakhomeloans.com, angeloakhomeloans.com, and search the state you're currently in now. And you will see a list of mortgage professionals that have the tools needed that we discussed today that can provide solutions even in this challenging market that we're in. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to Your Mortgage Matters podcast, brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans, where achieving your unique personal or business goals for financial success matters to us. It's all about you. Help us educate others. Please click your mobile device and hit the like and share buttons now. Angel Oak Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 685842.